Whoever built this place wasn't worried about making it cozy. And there's an inscription here. It's old, barely visible, scratched into the plaster. Graffiti! Oh, we've gotten very swirly. Yeah, I think this is probably another verb, considering that it starts with the two little. It's my current theory, anyway. I haven't actually used this marker before. I got it secondhand from somebody who was just like moving and was leaving behind all of their art supplies, and I just took the whole thing. So I haven't actually don't actually know how to use this pen. I'm still figuring it out. I'm really excited to have an excuse to use it though. Wonder if this is a connector. This is connecting two things. Probably not. Oh, maybe though. Got another one over here. Got two very similar words, which is interesting. It's like a little quail. Oh, I guess I should have actually drawn that the other direction. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. We've got, we? What were the other options for that? The other options for we. Okay, we could also be guardians light and here. Oh, one of the options here is I, which that would be very tasty if that was we and I. That makes intuitive sense to me because we've got more, got a pluralization perhaps, and okay, and we've got person and then a very simple thing there. That based on what we've already got, I think this is probably I because we've got person at the start. I mean, tasty is just a word I use a lot in silly contexts because it amuses me. I didn't realize this is grammatical of a thing. Okay. Okay, so we've got what I am starting to so okay. I'm I'm just spitballing here, but I'm starting to think that we might have a indicator of word type for symbol pattern going on here because we've got what we've got person first things. I think goddess is also the same. Let me check here. Yes, goddess also starts with this character. And then we've got verbs, things that I'm pretty sure are verbs anyway, that start with this guy. And then we've got our cartouche friends over here. I don't know that it's going to be consistent across all words. In fact, I would expect it not to. Okay, so we've got a lot of funky new stuff here. Did I have the X before? I feel like I did, but only in like one thing. Yes, in banished or buried, whichever it is. Oh, it's on the screen. guess the X could be transformative. Maybe into something. And we've got stranger and beloved as options. I suppose death could also be a person, but I find it more likely that it's supposed to be the concept thereof, of which 6 is not afraid, or it is immortal. Okay, so if I look at this base, okay, so first I was just like looking at this and I wasn't looking at the words, and I was just kind of like thinking about what these different symbols could indicate about the word that they're in, because that seems to be kind of how a good way to look at this, I guess. I don't know. What I'm starting to notice about this is that like I need to let my brain just kind of come up with stuff and not try to just logic my way through it. If I just kind of sit here and stare at it, my brain will just offer up things that seem like the right solution. And I'm not entirely sure where it's getting it, but I do know that I am looking at all of the information at once, and I suspect that I am just seeing patterns that maybe I can't consciously meets that right side of my brain. Anyway, all right, but looking at this from the logical English sentence direction, we've got I probably a verb, probably a noun, probably a person, noun. So things that make sense then. Like, there is no way that this is and. This is way too complicated. If this was and, it would be very quickly shorthanded. There's no way this is and. Okay, so we've got fear, love, and open. Stranger, death, goddess, beloved. I mean, like, it could, so I love the beloved, I guess. There is a lot of similarities between these two. It could conceivably be a verb tense and a noun tense. The glyph in the middle that's just after X. Yes, it's pretty badass. It is reminding me of what I have been in my head calling the ocean mountain glyph, which is this one, which was my previous favorite. Like it's still very solid, but this one feels similar in a lot of ways. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like anybody who's writing things like that's why we have an ampersand in the first place. That's why we have an ampersand in the first place, is because people lead things and have to write faster, and so they come up with they write things as short as possible if they're going to write it over and over. Yeah, and it's just too common of a. It's just too common. So there's enough similarities there's enough similarities in the letters here that I could see this as I love the beloved. But oh, I love my friend. Oh, thank you. I'm glad. That's what I've been trying to do. Um, I'm glad that I am trying to be linguistically sound. Thank you. I'm very pleased. Um, okay. I love the beloved is also like the sort of thing that could very easily be scratched somewhere, although I would expect it to be a name instead. So I'll leave that as a maybe. All right, we know that it's not goddess. And so we're left with stranger and death. Considering that we know that somebody died downstairs, I fear death could be an option. I love death. I open to death. I open death. That could be I welcome death. Stranger is not feeling right. Unless, I suppose fear and stranger could be, if this is the same culture as Mercy, it could be I fear stranger. Fear and stranger could be the same because they have that thing about only talking to people you've been introduced to. Like they're extremely, what's the word? Not isolated. My brain's coming up with iconoclastic, but I don't think that's right. Yeah, I'm not coming up with it. All right. So clearly these two words are like I can't shake the feeling that these words are closely related considering how many letters of overlap we have. Like, and also I do have a suspicion that some of these lowercase letters are like lowercase versions of uppercase letters that are like it's being used to change, how do I say this? Like in emperor, there's a clear relationship between emperor and holy and blesses and whatever. But we've got this extra bit in the middle, or I'm sorry, yeah, no, okay, so oh, well, that messes with my whole theory. Emperor messes with my theory about person first, about that first letter being person. I'm annoyed. because holy is this guy plus this, right? Which means that the person bit would actually be on the end. That's vexing. Well, anyway, I've gotten thrown completely off my stride. Never mind. Probably talking out my butt. Getting shockingly good audio quality considering. Anyway, I think given that we know that this culture is probably related to the Mercian culture and that there can absolutely be culture drift. Time to pick open and death. Yes, definitely. That's definitely what I'm leaning towards. Yes. I mean, I could argue for it. I could absolutely argue for open death because if death is a person, we've also got this like I can't see this as anything but a lightning strike. I can't see this as anything but a lightning strike. I really can't. And like between that and the X, I really am leaning towards this being some sort of threat. Like this feels like a negative. This feels negative. Which might be in part also because of the buried and banished, like is where we've previously seen this X character. Between that and like the only thing I can see here is a lightning strike. It feels very okay. I fear death or I fear the stranger. Okay, yeah, I think this is death because we've got like I mean, I can't get all the pieces of it right, but if I'm right and this is verb not, because like buried is like not above, I guess. Like because we've got like this mountainous bit and then can't can't move, maybe. I'm probably just making up shit. But anyway. Oh, cool. Glad to have helped, I guess. Um okay, so if I'm right and this does indicate action, and if I'm right and this is a not this is a not this, and this is like surprise or a bad thing. And I feel like this is a transition, like this is something changing. I mean, and maybe like that's just what my brain is telling me. And then it's another action. Um, which the cartouche version with this is divide slash weep slash what is it? Where is it? Where'd it go? Wept, move, knowledge, part. And the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking about wept. So yeah, so like only like more like tears, I would think, like rain. Um, so we could have bad bad surprise that leads to tears. Is not a completely insane thing to just to interpret this as, I feel like. So I feel like I feel pretty solid about my choice here. And then we've got person person is not transitions to an action of negative end, perhaps, which would make this death. So uh, on and again, shocking audio quality and all. Um, but I'm feeling fairly comfortable about this, both in terms of where it is and what my options were. I fear death. That will do for now. The writer was dying. At least that was my interpretation. The angle is interesting too. Scratched by someone lying down. Yeah, that's what I thought. Graffiti. Graffiti everywhere.